Me time, finding the balance between taking care of others and taking care of yourself. Do you feel like you pretty much single-handedly hold your family together? Are you generally in charge of making sure that things get done around the house? If you have kids, are you usually the taxi driver who takes them to athletic practices, music lessons, etc.? Do you feel like you're busy all of the time but still can't get everything done? Do you find yourself feeling resentful when someone else is relaxing while you're working? You do a lot of things for a lot of people. Some you may not really mind, like helping your child with homework or taking care of aging parents. Others, like housework, probably don't give you much joy, and many things are somewhere in between. For instance, you may sometimes love your job and sometimes hate it. Even if you enjoy what you're doing, though, if you don't take enough time to recharge, you're probably going to end up exhausted, resentful, and possibly ill. How are you supposed to find that time to recharge? First of all, by delegating some of your current responsibilities. For instance, which of your current household tasks can other family members do? What tasks can you delegate to others at work? What can you do to take better care of yourself? Get more sleep? Eat better? Exercise? And what's just as important as all of these? Doing things you enjoy. The name of the game is finding the balance between taking care of other people and taking care of yourself. Boundaries. Are you unable to say no to requests, then feel resentful when you get overwhelmed? Do you have difficulty trusting yourself or others? Do you have problems with intimacy, emotional or physical? Do you tend to take responsibility for other people's feelings or actions? Do other people often take advantage of your goodwill? It's not easy for most of us to say no. After all, we usually get much better reactions when we say yes. But learning to say no is one of the best ways to balance self-care with taking care of others. If you say yes to everything anyone asks you to do, you'll probably burn out very quickly. If you say no to everything anyone asks you to do, you'll probably damage or even lose your relationships with other people. If you don't have much practice with saying no, it might be difficult for you to figure out what you want or need. And it will be particularly difficult to decide when it's a good idea to prioritize yourself and when it's a good idea to prioritize other people. As is generally true, sticking to one extreme or the other, such as always saying yes or always saying no, makes decision-making pretty easy. On the other hand, only by finding the place of balance in between will you really be supporting yourself and others. Relationships. Does your romantic partner ever remind you of one of your parents? Were there any red flags at the beginning of your relationship that you ignored at the time, only to recognize them later? Does it feel like you keep ending up in the same kinds of unhealthy relationships over and over? Does it feel like you do more than your share of the work in your relationships? Do you tend to engage in the same negative behaviors in relationships repeatedly, and then get frustrated with yourself when you do? Many of your relationship behaviors were learned when you were growing up, mostly by observing the way your family members interacted, both inside and outside of the family. Your romantic relationships, friendships, and even work relationships have been strongly influenced by those early family relationships. For instance, you may choose a romantic partner who turns out to be an alcoholic or a workaholic, or have some other compulsive behavior. Your partner may be verbally, physically, or sexually abusive. If you're married or live with your partner, you may sometimes feel like you're just roommates. You may also frequently find yourself talking and/or acting negatively towards your partner. Work relationships are important too. You may feel like you don't fit in at work. It may seem like you're being rewarded, or rather punished, for your hard work by being given even more work. And your supervisor may make unreasonable demands. All of these relationship issues, personal and professional, most likely originated in the past. If you do a relationship history, starting with your parents and siblings, you'll probably start to notice certain patterns. Once you're aware of those patterns, you can take steps to change the things you're doing to keep them going. You can also begin to find reasonable responses to the things other people are doing to keep the patterns going. As you begin to practice new behaviors, you will find that at least some of your relationships will change for the better. You may decide to leave relationships that don't improve, and your new relationships will probably be healthier from the beginning. If these issues are familiar to you, check out my book, Me Time, Finding the Balance Between Taking Care of Others and Taking Care of Yourself, available on Amazon.com. In the next video, I'll show you why you sometimes think and/or act like a child, and what you can do about it.